Hi again. Well, as the people were leaving the place that Moses had named Mara, which means bitterness, but God changed it all, um, they were starting now to run out of food. They were getting really hungry. And God had them stop for a while at a place named Elim. And oh, it was wonderful in Elim. It was like a desert oasis. There were 12 palm trees around it, and there was wonderful water there, and there was just grassland. It was just marvelous. Only you know what? They were running out of food. They didn't have anything to eat. But they camped in Elim for a while when they were getting more and more hungry, starving. And the scriptures tell us that the people started to complain again. Well, I think I would too. You know, if Egyptians were after me and if I didn't have enough water and now I don't have enough food, I think I'd have a little bit of a tendency to want to complain too. And so the people didn't know what to, back in that other place they could feed their cattle and stuff on grass, but people can't eat grass. Now they're out in the wilderness with nothing. And the Lord said, Moses, raise up your staff again. And Moses raised up his staff, and his stomach was growling when he raised up his staff. And so all of the people were starving. And when he raised up his staff, here comes that wind again, and the quail, thousands of quail, started to blow and fly in, and they would quail all over the place. They were all over the ground. And it was wonderful because that night, in modern translation, they had a wonderful barbecue. They ate barbecued quail, and they were satisfied and they were full, and they were so thankful that the Lord had sent them food to eat. All of those quail, and boy, did they ever dig in. It sounds kind of good, like having chicken over the grill or something. So anyway, hi kitty. I put him a snack up there earlier and he just decided to eat it now, I guess. And do you like your snack, huh? Yeah. Well, he should have ate it a long time ago. And anyway, they were, where was I? I got sidetracked with the cat. Okay. And then they started to move on. God told Moses, have them all pack up and get ready to move on. And he took Moses a little ways outside of their camp and he said, look over all of this desert. Do you see what I see? See those mountains way over there? And Moses is looking, no, and I'm looking. Where are we going next, Lord? Can't see. I don't think they had binoculars then, but maybe it helped. I don't know. I don't know. And so God says, that's where we're going next. And they said, well, if the Lord will keep feeding us, please. And Moses said, yes. And Moses told them that God was going to give them some breakfast. But they had to move out first. So they followed the pillar of fire. And they got farther out. And the place that they left, maybe I forgot to tell you, was called Elim. And so they left Elim and they saw all this desert ahead of them and they're just devastated. What are we going to eat now? And the Lord told Moses to tell the people he was going to give them some breakfast and it was going to fall on the ground in the form of dew. And in the morning, when the sun would come out and it would dry up the dew, it would leave this stuff on the ground that was edible. And in the Hebrew language, the people said manna, and in Hebrew that means, what is this? And sure enough, the next morning, there on the ground was the manna. Then they call it manna. And it means, what is this? And the Lord says, this is what we're going to eat through the desert. But I have some restrictions on this manna. What I want the people to do is they can collect it every morning after the sun comes up. They can collect it all. But they can only do it for 6 days. On the sixth day, I want them to collect enough for 2 days so that they can rest from it and rest from all of their labors of everything on the 7th day. And on the 7th day, I want them to be able to relax and just remember what I have brought them through. It's to remember their Creator and what He has done for them. And so Moses relayed this to the people, and they obeyed it. And the Lord said, if they don't do it this way, He said, the manna, they won't have anything for the next day because it's going to dry up right away. And so they were eating manna and starting out across this huge expanse, and they're just hoping that the mountains will be coming up pretty soon here because they're way off yet. So they're out in the wilderness and they're living on the manna and surviving on it. And you know something else? It tells us in the scriptures that their shoes, their sandals, never wore out. They were out there for years and their shoes never wore out. So the Lord made sure they were going to keep going and keep walking anyway, and He was going to provide. And that's sometimes what we go through in this life. Things can look kind of bleak and skimpy and awful sometimes, but the Lord provides. He really will if we stay close to Him. Okay, that's enough for right now. Bye-bye. See you next time.